to Dave again. Dave, so I guess we'll just start there. Getting a little shout out in the state of the island. Was that kind of a big boost for yourself and your department?
Unmute.
Unmute.
Excuse me. It's always nice to be recognized for your hard work and for the department. Our staff has been, working tirelessly, and it's nice for them to see that, it's recognized and all the hard work that we're doing. So it's always feels good to be recognized. I appreciate the governor for saying nice things. It helps the morale of the staff because we're going to probably go into a round 3 soon, and this whole program just keeps going, and which is good. I think this round 3 will take us into the recovery, and we will start to, as the PUA fades, I think our island will be coming out and recover, and jobs will start opening up. So it'll be a good transition, and I hope that this will be the last round of it, so that our island will be kind of back on its feet. And workers are going to have to start to understand that they have to get up and get out and start, getting jobs. And that's what I'm going to shift from one, giving out the money, to start training and upskilling our employees that have been laid off and who want to get into different industries. So I'm working with all the training providers right now to get an inventory of what kind of classes, what kind of courses, certifications, boot camps, everything that's going to be in the next 6 months that will be, good, that will be training into these demand occupations. And we'll be working at getting people in there and paying for them to get retrained so that they can go out and get into heavy equipment operations, certified nursing assistants, medical billing, code and billing, anything in construction. It just goes on, ship repair. These are all things that are in big demand, and they pay good, and we have more than enough jobs sitting there waiting for them. So if they're interested in that kind of stuff, then it's time for you to do it soon. We're going to start getting that up and running, and then you can start getting those certifications. So as this PUA runs out, then you'll have that certification in hand and hopefully get a new job.
Dave, just to back up a little bit, I know the last time you came on, you talked about having to flick a switch for reduced hours workers. We've just been getting a lot of comments since then about opening the portal. I'm not familiar with the process, but we get a lot of comments about people who say that they can't enter a claim because the portal won't open, or for whatever reason.
That in the system has a safeguard that if you don't file like within a month or something like that, that it basically puts your claim dormant, because it thinks you're back to work. And unfortunately, this is not something, this whole PUA 1, the PUA 2, and then reduced hours, it's not something that the system understands. So the system thinks if you haven't filed for a month because you were waiting for the reduced hours, or it went from disqualified to allowed, then you have these people coming in that are maybe 6 weeks behind filing.
Right.
Then we have to go in and tell the system that no, this person is going back and is allowed to go back to 6 weeks and file for all those back weeks. It's just something that's the way the systems nationwide are designed, as a safeguard from somebody going in and just filing, going back, 6 months and file for all those weeks or whatever. So if you stop filing, like if you go back to work, all you need to do is stop filing. And then the system will eventually, after 6 weeks or so, say, oh, this person hasn't filed.
Yeah.
And it'll kind of shut down. So it's just the nature of, it's good and bad news. The good news, reduced hours got approved and people can start filing again and they can go back to when they were, at the time that they last filed. The bad news is that the system it needs to have us go in and correct that measure.
Right.
So,
So Dave, again, with the comments that people say, oh, they can't get through to get the switch flicked or whatever you got to do on the portal end. So how do you address those concerns?
yeah, and that's, Chris, that is a legit question.
Yeah.
And, I've never shrugged away, you know, just the nature of this beast and the amount of people that I have. You just can't hire somebody and put them on to go into somebody's personal and private information, banking, everything is in that claim. And they can go in and just change things and approve things. It takes a certain amount of level. My best advice is if you can't get through 311 and all that, go to one of the libraries in Jotnia or in Dell'Isola. I'm not going to say that you're going to be able to walk in there and be seen. It depends on the crowd and the appointments. But what you will get is you will get an appointment and to be seen the next available slot. And so if you go up there and they can see you, they'll fit you in. If they go up there and they see that there's an opening a couple hours from now, they'll give you that opening, or in the next, or whenever it's convenient for you in the near future. So you can go in there, sit down, and they'll fix it for you. They'll actually help you file all those weeks. Because I understand reduced hours can be kind of difficult for people to understand and to put in. And so they can actually get help that way too. So those are the two main solutions. And I think that will, as I said, time goes on, the lines will get shorter and will help more people because we keep knocking them out, we keep fixing them, we keep doing it, and like I said, they can seek those two solutions, and they should be taken care of by then. I know it's not easy, but once they get fixed, then they can do it weekly,
right,
on their own.
So it's Jotnia Library, did you say, Dave, and Dell'Isola?
Yes.
Okay, and these are the Department of Labor satellite locations, guys. So everybody says it's virtually impossible to get through on the phone line. So it is what it is. If you want to get these reduced hours claimed and you have to go to the library, it's PCOR 3. Just go and get it, because I don't know if it's just. It seems like it's case by case, because I got some friends who were on the reduced hours. As you recall, Dave, you told people don't file, so they didn't file. But when the reduced hours guidance came out and they were able to, a couple of my friends did get to jump in and file a claim without having any issue at all. But then it does seem like a lot of other people are having those issues. So, guys, like I said, it is what it is. Head out to those
like
libraries. But
this whole, as you know, before December, everybody was running smoothly. I mean, we were seeing everybody walk-ins in the libraries. We were paying everybody. Everything was running smoothly. Then the program ended because they couldn't extend it in time.
Right.
And then everybody that expired, stopped. And then all of a sudden they approved it again. So then that opened the floodgates of thousands of people wanting to reapply for PUA 2. And then the reduced hours had to stop. And we were trying to get caught up to that floodgates of everybody who forgot how to apply since last March, and they have to reopen their claims, are slamming us. And then the reduced hours several weeks later gets slammed again with another flood of all these reduced hours. And I'm hoping that this new Biden plan gets passed and gets done so that we don't have to shut down the system while they are negotiating it and then returning it back on, and then that hits the floodgates again. So some of this is, I'm not going to shrug that, it's not our fault for everything. This program was supposed to end, and we were winding down the program, and then it got extended. and then it keeps hitting us with floodgates instead of just keep going seamlessly, and we could just keep moving seamlessly. So, you know, thank God it did, and thank God the people are still getting the benefits. And you know, thanks for your patience. I know, but we're still getting the money out. We're still processing them. Our people are working tirelessly, and you know that each one, the phones are busy because we're fixing people and we're helping them.
Dave,
So
what about the new
I know.
$661 million dollar federal aid package? Does that include an extension of the PUA? And if so, what are the terms, if you're able to tell us? And then how seamlessly would your department and the existing program slide into this third round of unemployment assistance?
That's a good question. Um, I've seen, you know, like the last one, you know, the House passed one version, then it goes to the Senate, they pass another version, now it's back to the House. So I stopped watching the ping pong match. But what I can tell you is that it looks like it will be extended. I think it's going through September. And the FPUC will continue to be 300. It was going to be 400, but they lowered it to 300, and it will just continue on. I did see something about the first for this year's tax period, the first 10,600 or so will be, there'll be no taxes on it. You don't have to pay taxes. But that's something that when you file your 1040s that you would do on the forms. And that's they added more weeks through September. So it all depends on how quickly they pass this and the president signs it and gives it to us. Remember, whatever they pass, it has to go to USDOL, and then they're going to have to write it up and give you all the guidelines and procedures. So just like the last member for the PUA one that expired on the 26th, they didn't pass something until after the program expired. And then it took about a week and a half for labor to come up and write up the procedures. And don't forget, we have to wait for that period. And then when we get that from USDOL, we have to go back to the vendor, and then they have to program the system. And that's why we had about a week or a week and a half of downtime for the system to be reprogrammed with the new parameters. So, you know, it takes us about 2 to 3 weeks to ramp up a new system change, reprogramming it, and making sure everything is testing it to make sure that everything is running correctly before we start giving out the tens of millions of dollars. So the earlier they get it to us, the better that we can get it all ramped up before the expiration of the PUA 2 program. So it's not up to us, it's all up to them. But it does take several weeks for USDOL and for us to come up with the new guidelines and to reprogram the system so that it can get out the tens of millions of dollars correctly.
What about the unemployment insurance? I know that the governor during her SOTI had also mentioned that and kind of passed it along to the senator saying, hey, I want this done yesterday.
Well, you know, it's something that's going to require to put it together a UI program. It takes years. So we need to start looking at it and start doing the planning and start how we're going to fund it. Initially get the seed money and start laying out the initial work to see whether how it's going to get done and the design and the features for it, because each UI program in every state is customized to that state. And so you know, these are the kind of things that we're going to have to start putting together. So, you know, you have to start taking that first step to get, you know, for that long journey. And the governor kind of laid out a basic roadmap to get that journey started. And that's something that we have to start moving and, of course, dialogue with the community and the business as we start moving it forward. And hopefully, by the time we get this all done, our island will be in a much better shape before when we start to figure out to implement it. It's going to take years. When I talked to USDOL, they said it could take 3+ years to basically get everything put together with all the guidelines, the rules, the regs. Getting a trust fund, after 10, 15 years of a UI program, that trust funds turns into hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And the fiduciary responsibilities of a trust fund is huge. And running a UI is usually the largest department of any labor in any of the states. So it's something that needs to be well planned and put together. And we are, now's the time to start putting that shell together and start to look at it and start designing it, because it's going to take a while. And hopefully by the time it does put together and implemented, our island will be in better shape. Our businesses will be doing well again, like we were before this pandemic. I know it's going to take years, but that's what's going to take to get a UI program up. So I'm excited to start the work and start the dialogue and putting the framework together. As I mentioned before, I'm going to write a letter to UOG and ask if they would take it on as a kind of like a research project of the pros and cons of the UI on Guam, so that they can help us design and know what the pitfalls are.
Dave, any batching news here? When's the next batch coming out?
We plan to batch this coming Tuesday, every other Tuesday. So yes, we're going to batch again as usual, and it'll probably be all claims filed. There's no more dates as far as up to. We are, we're keeping the fraud under control so far, knock on wood, that it's manageable for us to clean and get done up to date before the batch comes. And as long as we're able to keep the fraud at bay enough for us to remove them, then we're going to continue to batch without a date. So that's good. We keep getting the money out.
Any update on the fraud that you guys had said you sent over to the AG?
Yes, we've sent fraud cases to the AG, to the FBI, and to our Office of Inspector, the OIG. You know me. And so I'm dating myself. But, so
hey, nothing wrong with little OIG. Yeah, you know me. You're down with OIG. You don't want to be down with OIG, though. Yeah.
No, that's the last place you want to go down with. Right. But you know them. When I give the cases, they won't even tell me what's going on with them. So things, I can tell you, there are cases that are moving forward. So those people that are trying to fraud and cheat the federal government and our island of money, beware. That's my best words of advice I can say.
There you go. Dave, just before we let you go, also update on the displaced workers, temporary jobs programs with DOL?
Yes, good question. So I think I mentioned before that, we got an award of close to $6 million total, and which is a lot of what most states were getting. And we're using that in two parts. One part is to help the recovery. So we've hired about 200 people that are out there working at the vaccine sites, at the hospitals, help cleaning COVID rooms, contact tracing, helping with the manning and the traffic control, helping getting out the food. So these are all people that are out there helping our island recover and helping public health, GMH, and the hospitals. And then the second half of that is going to be in the training. So that's why I'm saying with all the training partners, I'm trying to get a list of all the training that will be coming up, and so that we can put it out to the people, so those who have been unemployed because of COVID can start looking and jumping on those training courses and get a new career. And we will be paying for that.
All right, Dave. Thank you again for your time, my friend. And, you know, as you get closer to getting more info about the new round of PUA, FPUC, or anything at all, just shoot us a message and we'll get you back on.
Well, I see my partner in crime is right next to us.
Yeah, that's it. You know, I'd like to get you guys on together. I think she also got a shout out in the SOTI too. I want to say that she did. She did, right? Yeah, yeah. Daphne Mansabit Shimazu. Yep.
She deserves it. She's keeping that money going too. As long as we keep the money flowing, right?
I like the sound of that.
Yes. So I thank her. We talk all the time.
Yes, partners in crime, not literally though.
No, no, definitely not. Definitely
Who's
not.
working harder? Who's working harder?
I don't know. Dave is working so hard. No, shout out to Dave and to DOL. I just really need to say thank you to Dave. Really, you know, of course, when I did ask the governor for assistance with our agency because we were so short-staffed, you know, Dave didn't hesitate. We probably have between 20 to 30 people here at our agency who are from DOL programs. And so I want to just say thank you to Dave and to DOL for, you know, their continued support of our agency. Honestly, we couldn't do what we do without our partners, our other agency partners. So thank you to Dave.
Oh, Daphne, you're so sweet.
Yeah, day.
That's why I love her so much.
Guys, we'll take a break real quick. Daphne Shimazu, Revenue Tax Director, is coming up next right here on the link. It is Wednesday, the 10th day of March. Again, fatal accident. Sabrina Salas Manzanani just came from the scene of that crash. We'll get a little more info when we come back with more of the link next.
Banners, posters, stickers.
GU Self Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable